Appian provides a low-code automation platform which accelerates the creation of high-impact business applications to improve customer experience, achieve operational excellence, and simplify global risk management and compliance. They help insurance to become more agile in their technology and operations so that they can respond quickly to a fast-changing environment. Learn how to overcome the hurdles of legacy systems, inefficient workflows, and disconnected data. Find out how Appian can help unlock the power of connected insurance to deliver a better customer and broker experience. Please welcome Appian.
Good afternoon, welcome to the session. My name is Gijsbert Cox, I'm industry lead for Appian, and today I'm going to talk with one of our customers, Baloise, who we'll introduce later on, but I'll first give an introduction what Appian is. Appian is a process automation platform with very strong workflow and case management capabilities, and process automation tools in our platform such as RPA, AI, intelligent document processing, business rules that allow you to automate that process. And underneath we have a layer that we call data fabric, which is about connecting the data that you need into the process without collecting, but connecting them into the process and leave it in the golden sources where they belong. And I'm talking about connected insurance here. It's about connecting your good people within a process with the right data, but it's also about connecting it with your partners. And with that, I'm going to focus more with Stephanie Sales from Baloise on how they have done that. So that will be a great session because they have focused on property claims. And as you may know, Belgium is a very high broker market, and Baloise is doing their business through their brokers. And let's look at that later about their use case. But first, let's have a look at the market. I mean, we talked about it a lot here in different sessions of what the situation looks like, and as Gardner calls it, it's a triple squeeze, right? So we have high inflation, which has an impact on cost at insurers, a looming economy crisis, but actually there's still a lot of need for good people, right? So that's an interesting situation. And risks, they're changing, the impact is increasing, but there's also new risks appearing. So it's a triple squeeze. And actually, as Gardner says it, technology should provide a way out and needs to provide needs to pay off, basically. So that's why you're all here, to look at the new technologies. So let's look at those technologies. Now look into the current situation, what we're facing. And I'm using the analogy of musical instruments there, because all of your companies, insurance companies, have heavily invested in insurance solutions. And I use the analogy of musical instruments. So each of them, your policy system, your claim system, can play a good tune of music. But the issue is that you have multiple policy systems. You might have decided to buy a new policy system. You may have inherited an old legacy system by taking over a book of business. So lots of insurers have multiple policy systems, multiple claim systems, document management systems. Let's not forget about Outlook. And if you think about an end-to-end process to support your customers, a claims process or an underwriting process, you're touching multiple systems because you need elements of data from these systems to bring it into your process. So what you need is an orchestrator, a director that brings these instruments together and then really elevate the music and excite your customers, bring it to another level, right? And that's an interesting analogy, and I think we have to change that slightly and create a version 2.0, because the reality is more looking like this at the moment. There's insurtech plays, there's new distribution methods, there's other data, not only your internal data, but external data that you can bring in your process, right? And really do something more exciting. And that's what the market is expecting from you. So let me touch on like how Appian supports their insurance customers to provide this. And I'll quickly explain this slide of what's in the box of the Appian platform. And then the important thing is the data fabric. So data fabric is about stop collecting data and put it into a new system, but connecting your data. You have made serious investments in different systems, use the data from those existing systems and bring it into the process. That's what data fabric is about. And also, if you update that data, bring it back to the golden source where it belongs. So that's it's a Gartner term, and we have that in our platform. That's where we invested in for 20 years. And on top of that layer, you have this process automation layer, which is about define what you need, right? The first notice of loss process, or a finance and accounting process, or an underwriting process. It's a visual flowchart. Well, actually, in Appian, that is your application. That's how quickly you can design that and develop that. And once you have that, you can think, well, I actually want to automate. Step 3, I want to use a bot. Step 5, I want to use AI to use my internal data to provide a next suggested step to my underwriter or to claims handler. That's what process automation is about. And then you need a total experience layer, right? Like you need a layer on top to provide a rich, very user-friendly, engaging system for your users. So we really close that gap between the business and IT to actually talk to the business and say, what do you need? Well, I want the client data on the left, or I want the claims data on the right, and I want to send an email. Okay, well, let's define that. That's that total experience layer. And also, once you have that, you can give it to your brokers, right? You can use it on a tablet, on a mobile phone. It's a one size for that. It's automatically bringing it to the right situation. And also, we have process mining. So once you're done, you're not finished, right? You're learning as you use the process by looking at the transactional data and improve the process where you want to. And yes, we're built on low code, and it's unified. So it's not standalone application. It's really one system, and we talk about that with Stephanie in a minute. And it's enterprise grade. It's really secure. So that's all good. And what we want to create for you is really this connected future. A connected future where you use your legacy, as you can see here, the system that you already have, the musical instruments that you already have, bring that into a connected insurance layer, and then bring in that external data, right? From InsurTech, from telematics, from satellite data, or other good solutions that are out there with external data. Bring that into the process, and then really excite your customers, as you can see on the left-hand side, talking about omni-channel consistency, right? Providing constantly the same data and not start a journey again. And enable that to your partners as well. And that's what, at the start of today, we're talking about the third wave of the ecosystems. That's what I believe this is, what you want to achieve. And then the fourth wave is, once you have that agile layer, you can actually join new opportunities. If there's new opportunities for embedded insurance, or a partner wants to do business with you, you're more agile to actually jump to that opportunity together with your partner and really operationalize that. Okay, so that is the view of the general high-level view of what we are doing for our customers. But it's best to dive into a real use case. And for that, I invite Stephanie Sales to the stage. Welcome, Stephanie. Thank you. So let's look at what you've done at Baloise. But first, before we talk about that, maybe you can explain what Baloise is on a group level and for Belgium.
It's my pleasure to tell you about Baloise. Baloise is an European provider of insurance and pension solutions for many years. Baloise was established in 1863, and during the time they did an expansion of business activities almost in every country in Europe. But at a certain time in 1962, the Baloise Holding was founded, and they realized that they really need to focus on core markets, and it is in the meantime Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, and Switzerland. But they still operated with an own brand identity, unless we changed that last year. We 4 countries together transformed in one brand identity, Baloise. As we said, we are focusing on 4 core markets in Europe, and we believe that we need to focus on markets and customers where we really can create a high value. And high value means for us that we are able to serve a complete service package to the customers, more than selling classical insurance products. We believe that if we work together with service partners and other partners, that we can bring a certain peace of mind for our customers, so that they have the time to spend in their daily life on their important moments. So that's what we believe as a group, Baloise, and also we take that ambition, strategic ambition, in Belgium. And Baloise Belgium, then that's where the use case where I will tell about is we implemented in Belgium. Baloise Belgium is among the top 4 non-life insurance, and we also offer life insurance. Our customers are as well individuals, but also enterprises, small and large enterprises. We only work together with broker offices, so we will distribute our products via independent brokers in Belgium. And together with the service partners in Belgium, we will achieve our ambition to bring a total experience to the customer in a way that they really can focus on their own lives. And last but not least, we do that together with almost 1,600 employees. And we believe that, and we invest also, that having satisfied employees are really crucial to make the broker happy, that it's nice to work together, and both together they can serve the customer. So that's what we believe in Belgium, and what we try to translate also in every use case around innovation, what we do for the moment.
Yeah, no, thanks for that introduction. We got a picture now of Baloise Group in Belgium, and as you say, Belgium is a very heavy broker market, and I know the level of service is very high. They expect a lot from insurers, and so you decided that's something you want to tackle to improve that. And I know you're looking at various processes, and you decided to look at the property claims process first, and honing in on the first notice of loss, start at the beginning. So we look at what you've done there. But before we talk about that, I mean, can you explain a bit about the why? Because there needs to be a business case, obviously. Why did you look to start look at the property claims process?
Indeed, focusing on the first property claim, because it feels like a very easy claim settlement, but it isn't at all. And what we try to give in this video is setting the scene, the feeling that we have in the Baloise company, where we work together with a lot of parties. First of all, the customer will declare a claim to the broker. The broker, most of the time, will assign a service partner to repair the claim or to do some expertise. And then we have also the claims handler and the claims admin support team of Baloise. And they all try to want to play their role for the customer, but not together. So we have a lot of noise in the corridor, sending emails, reminders, having extra phone calls. So a lot of communication is in the area, but not really efficient, with the end goal to settle really immediately the simple most of the time the simple property claim for our customer.
Yeah. No, I understand that, and it's an excellent video explaining it, and probably some people in the audience actually recognize that. And the snake sort of bites in the tail by crawling up again. But can you explain a bit, where did it hurt most in this process?
Yeah, the biggest problem is that we don't have an overview as Baloise in itself.
Right.
We know that there is a claim, but we have no idea what the service partner is doing at that moment, what the broker is doing at that moment. So we don't have the really overview. And what we see is also that our employees do a lot of manual labor work to create the settlement.
Yep.
And they are not that happy to do a lot of admin tasks. And also the broker, it takes a long time, even if he has a power of attorney, it takes from few weeks before he receives the settle payment from Baloise to his account. So
that's quite a challenge to take on. And how did you go about that? How did you start fixing that complexity? Where did you start?
We start from a customer journey exercise. So we designed the whole, when there is a claim in the customer, what's the next step? And we designed really the customer journey and rethink the process and redesigned it. So we take some attention for the to-be process optimization. And by doing this, we also identified optimization areas where it's possible to automate some simple tasks and try to connect on a digital way together with our partners. What we also did is thinking, what are the changing needs that we see in the specific claims process? So we identified the changing needs and tried to solve that in the new process. And at the end, of course, be aware where the touch point of our employee is really needed. So take care about that. That is not the case to automate that. So we did a lot of preparation before we really start with redesign the process in Appian or together with Appian.
Right. Interesting. So it's really about your people and your process and your data. That's what you want to focus on. And let's have a look at like what you've designed. What you're having live at the moment, actually, and it's actually depicted on this picture that you see on the right-hand side. Could you explain what the audience is looking at, actually?
Yes, what we did is we offered to the broker a broker portal where he can, by self-servicing activities, declare the claim by itself. If we don't have that information for the customer, and if he have a lack of information, he can save the claim, and at a certain time the data is complete, and he can fulfill the claims process. If the customer choose at that moment that he wants the repair of the damage, the broker can immediately assign the service partner, and via API, the service partner received all the data that he needs to do the work. But if the customer decides that he wants to receive a payment as a settlement, the broker, if he has enough power of attorney, he can immediately settle the payment, and day after the customer receives the payment on his account. If the broker is not able to finish the claim because, maybe he has not the rights to do that, then our employee takes over the process. So they work together in one process. The employee takes over and then finish the claim. So at the end, the customer doesn't need to wait a long time before he received payment.
Right. Now that's interesting. It's really about what the previous session was about, also the enablement of people, actually, and including your partners.
Yes.
And but if you look at this picture, so what is Appian doing really? What's that connected insurance layer doing exactly?
Yeah. We see Appian really as the orchestrator of all the music in the claim settlement process. It guides us through all the process steps, and depending on the context, because it's not really straight to process. You are not able to think before what kind of request that the customer will have. So Appian guides us related on the context data, what kind of process steps and screens that the broker needs to fill in. We designed also the process step in a way that it's reusable. So we think a lot before the design of the process steps, that we not only can use it for a certain property product, but during the time for all our property products. And even also when we think about mobility, we are able to reuse the basic steps that we already implemented for the next line of business. Also important is connecting with the data that you already had, and that's a big challenge for the Baloise, because a lot of mergers and acquisitions, we have a lot of complexity in our landscape, but still we try to find the right API integrations, and if we are not able to do it, we use also the robots together with the Appian platform to, for example, settle the claim. And bringing all the data from Baloise internally landscape together in Appian, we have a complete overview. So the employee has a total overview, and we can also be transparent and predictable to the brokers and to the service partners.
Right.
So they don't see really everything, but some things we show to them, and they have a status, an actual status, so they don't need to send another mail or have another phone call to us.
That provides a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
And what about the agility of this? I mean, how do we how do you handle that? Because if this is built with bricks and mortar, which is not, because it's slow code, how does that help you actually?
Indeed, the flexibility is it's really a value for us. For us, is the flexibility, the workflow that we have in the platform with workload management for our team leads. They are able to change some business rules and workload priorities, change some capacity management around that. We are also able to add new service partners on an efficient way. And last but not least, we design some business rules and some screens for our business management, that in the case of an event, a cut-not event, where there will come a lot of workloads into the company, by changing business rules, by changing the amount of authority of our broker, the broker is allowing to handle the claim by itself. So we are able to, for a specific region, specific brokers, specific periods, we immediately can change the workload management together with the broker. And that's very valuable in the changing time that we have. And first,
Excellent, yeah. So you can change those rules and adapt to peaks in a very controlled way, because you know what you're doing. And excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And let's have a look what that actually looks like, because maybe the audience would like to see, okay, all good, this diagram, but let's have a look what that looks like and what you've built, if my clicker works. Yes, it does. So here we see a picture of what the broker sees and what actually the Baloise claims handler sees.
Yes, indeed. On the left-hand side, you see the broker portal, and it's not really very clear for you, but it's the same look and feel. It are the same screens with less or more information depending on the rights of the broker and what the claims handler or the manager needs to see at that moment.
Right.
So we try to reuse the same process and add some things more or less to it.
Yeah, so to be clear, this is the same system, it's the same
it's the same process
data,
with other rights, other capabilities that are activated for the role that you take on that moment.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So that's that multi-channel consistency that I talked about earlier. No, that's great. And is this, and we talked about a lot of benefits, and I'm conscious of our time. So let's summarize for the audience, because you talked about a lot of benefits here. It's actually that empowerment by giving insight into the same data, and actually the increase of claims handling. I don't know if we mentioned it, but I understand that where the previous picture was about weeks, that currently it can take minutes.
Yeah, a few minutes.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And a decrease in administration, right? People do not call up anymore, and there's less work because it's first time right.
Yes.
In the sort of thing. So that's really helpful. And we talked about the agility, which is like a really powerful thing. That's fantastic. And I guess most important, you have more time to support your brokers and your customers.
Indeed, that's the end goal.
Yeah, fantastic.
To have happy employees, happy brokers, and all together we will serve our customer. Yes.
That's great. But I understand also, just briefly touching on this, that is not the end state.
Yeah.
That we are that you'd want to do more, which is explained on this slide.
Yes, we started with the claims process for property. Think before about the reusability, so that we are able now to add more property products, and even we are thinking on the mobility claim settlement also. But we did all the optimize other use cases with customer requests. For example, the address changes is also something that really needs to orchestrate during the whole landscape in your company. So we do that also together with the Appian platform. We are working also on workload management, case management, and try to connect with other external data for some use cases. The most important thing is when you decide as company to take the transformation on that way, is that we did also, we start with a center of excellence with really experts that can support the business, because we do it in business product teams. We develop an Appian very close with the business, but we need to support them. We need to be aware about performance, reusability. So we have a team that assists all the product teams so that we at the end do the right things with the platform.
Well, that's fantastic. And that's what we advise our customers, center of excellence, so that you can actually use what you've built and reuse it elsewhere and extend what you've built. So that's that unification that I talked about earlier. Well, fantastic. Thanks very much. Thanks for your time. I know we're at time, but in a few seconds, do you have one piece of advice for the audience, perhaps?
Digital collaboration, investment in a hassle-free experience together with all the peers that you need to serve the customer is really very valuable.
Fantastic. Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and thanks for attending our session.